While this praise sounds very positive and affirming, you will not find it anywhere within the pages of the Bible. It simply doesn't exist. What you will find is the verse that it appears to be a misquotation of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, He will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. It's very important to understand a couple of things. God does not tempt anyone. James chapter 1 verse 13 emphatically states, "Let no one say he is tempted, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, and He Himself tempts no one." While God does not tempt us, He does, in His sovereignty, permits us to be tempted. This is to grow us in holiness. Job is a prime example of suffering. Job is considered blameless and upright, yet he suffers tremendously with God's granted permission to Satan. The passage raises many questions and directions, but focus on its relationship to the misquote. Satan asked for permission to make Job suffer. Job is unaware of this dynamic. God does set a limit, but it is not based upon Job's character or abilities. He sets the limit at taking Job's life. God, not Job, is the measure of what can be handled. God knows my limits, but my limits are not what suffering matches, nor is God the source of my suffering. The misquote puts the blame of all suffering on God and has Him choosing the amount based on my strengths. God does not send suffering to Job, though He does allow it. God sets a limit for Job, but this isn't measured by Job. Suffering comes from many sources. Suffering doesn't ask about what we can handle. It takes from us without measuring. Suffering never considers the powers within us. It is impersonal and takes what it will. When someone argues, God will only give you what you can handle. We are pointed to our own abilities. God is left as only the source of suffering or an uncaring observer when neither are true. We interpret it as everything depending upon us, or that everything in the suffering is about us and how we take on what is happening.